Well, because I did his first term, or my parents did his first term. And I took time on my own to read up on his policies, and he just aligns with my views the most, I think.
Okay. Which particular views?
Well, I think that tariffs is a good idea. Um, and the abortion one too, just because I'm Christian. And
Okay, let's address those two real quick. So, can you tell me what a tariff is?
yeah, he wants to impose 25% tariffs on all goods from Mexico and Canada.
So what is a tariff?
Um, isn't it just like taxing on goods from other countries to make
Yes. Okay.
it?
Yeah. Tax on imported goods, and who pays the tariff?
They do.
Nope.
Well,
Nope.
it's
The business that imports the product, the American business, right, which is then passed down to the American consumer. So the American consumer is paying that tax. So what Donald Trump's doing is replacing income tax with certain levels of tariffs, certain levels of income tax with certain levels of tariffs, which means it shifts the burden of taxation from people who are higher income to people who are lower income. Did you know that?
okay. Well, no, I didn't know that, but thank you for informing me about it.
Absolutely. Abortion.
My biggest thing is that I really just don't want us to keep sending money over to Ukraine.
Okay, I get it. Now here's my question: do you think that Russia should own Ukraine?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Do you understand that the reality of the matter is that if you do not send funding to help defend Ukraine, that it will be Russia?
I mean, I understand that to an extent, but I just don't think that really it's our battle to fight.
Okay. Okay. So then you do think it should be Russia then?
What do you mean?
Well,
To take over
inevitably, if we do
Ukraine?
not help Ukraine, it will be Russia. So then, do you think it should be Russia because we should not help them?
Well, I mean, I think it's always good to help other people, but to a certain extent, like this has been going on for far too long, in my opinion. I completely agree with how Trump and JD Vance handled that press conference the other day, the meeting with him. I think Zelensky took it too far.
How?
And I mean, in my opinion, to me and to obviously a lot of other people in our country, it comes off that he's just trying to take money
Okay. Here,
from us for his own.
let me ask you this question, right? If you were Zelensky, you were the leader of Ukraine, and there was this fucking insane murderous dictator that invades your country, right? Literally
Right?
took part of your country, annexed it, and then now multiple years later is invading the rest of your country and taking it. And then some
Well, right,
fucking
but why? Okay, but
hold up, I'm still finishing. And then some fucking Oompa Loompa, right, comes up to you, right, and essentially says, right, either, right, you are going to give up your country, right, part of your country, and submit to conditions in which don't allow for you to assure that your country won't be invaded and taken over entirely, right? Or you're going to stop getting funding and you're going to cease to be a country anyway.
right. Well, okay.
Do you think that those are
Ex-
terms, or would you want there to be assurance that your country's not going to be invaded?
I mean, I would always want to know that that our country is not going to be invaded if we were put in that position. But Parker, when did why did this whole thing start? Do you know that if it was like actually Russia or was it Ukraine who really put Ukraine in a bad position?
Really? So I have a
No,
question.
so because I feel like you don't understand. Like back in
Sarah,
2014,
who invaded who?
no, I understand that. Listen, but the thing that started this entire thing was happened all the way back in 2014. The war,
Who
the
invaded
invasion
who?
started later.
Who invaded?
No, listen,
I'm sorry. Who annexed Crimea?
I have no idea.
Russia. What is
Okay,
Crimea? A part of Ukraine. So
okay,
Russia in
I don't really.
2014 annexed a part of Ukraine.
Okay, listen, I don't know about places inside of Ukraine.
You get
But
it?
back in the reason why this happened is one, we have a verbal agreement with Ukraine that happened back in the
No, a
90s.
written agreement, the Budapest
Okay, well,
Memorandum.
whatever. It's still not like it's not like they're part of NATO. We don't have to
What the only way
help.
you could ensure that Ukraine does not become a part of Russia is either you make them a part of NATO or you continue to fund them to defend themselves.
Right. Well, I
Other than
just think
that, they're going to be Russia.
if you think that there's a peace agreement written up or whatever agreed upon, do you think that Russia would truly not invade Ukraine again, or do you think that he would?
I think they would.
Okay, because that's a point that I haven't really looked at yet, like super hard
That
into.
that's what
Well,
Zelensky is arguing, is that
yeah.
if they don't get any type of assurance that they are a
Right.
part of NATO and they will be defended by like the U.S., right, Europe, etc., then they would lose Ukraine, right? That's
I
essentially what
completely understand
Zelensky is
that.
saying.
But the thing about the whole NATO thing is that would almost be like if China, like if we were to let like Ukraine or like any of those bordering countries that are bordering Russia into NATO, that would almost be like China putting like bases into Mexico,
Can
and
I
we
give you an
wouldn't like
example? So
America.
in the early 2000s, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia joined NATO.
Right.
They're
Okay, I
on the border
understand
of
that.
Russia. So why didn't that provoke a war?
I just don't think they're big enough to be a threat to Russia. I really don't.
But Ukraine is.
Clearly, if they're
I guarantee the populations of those three countries are rivaling the population of Ukraine.
well, I would completely agree, but obviously they're a
Well,
good enough asset for Russia to be upset about or worried about or
well,
not want
here,
them to be in NATO. That's the whole thing that I'm not understanding about this is like all that we needed to do, all that NATO needed to do was they obviously kept Ukraine out of it for a reason, and but for the fact that like it was getting to a point where they wanted to be in NATO so bad that we're basically just stepping on Russia's toes right now because they
Hey,
wouldn't
wait,
be
I
able
just
to
want to
have
let you
like
know.
bases in.
Wait. Do you agree Finland is on the border of Russia?
Yeah.
They joined NATO in 2023. How come that didn't provoke World War III?
I'm saying, they're probably just not big enough of a threat to Russia.
What? Finland? Being a part of NATO?
Yeah.
Why is Ukraine more of a threat to Russia than Finland?
I don't have an answer for
well,
you.
I think this goes back to the original question of like, would they reinvade? Right now, Russia is the second most sanctioned place on earth next to North Korea. Inflation is exploding. They've suffered massive military losses. Obviously, their people are getting a little bit upset, and Putin himself has been like hiding away and wherever the fuck he's hiding away. So they've given up everything. And if they were to draw the lines right now and call it peace, then that's it. We're just going to go back to normal. It seems like Putin's given up quite a lot just to have part of Ukraine. I think that like all of our intelligence would suggest that his interest is always moving forward and dividing the West in any way he can, which he has now successfully done because he convinced the American people to vote for the guy with no concept
Okay,
of foreign
one
policy.
second. I keep seeing people in the comments saying, when did Republicans become pro Russia? I have never, I'm not pro Russia.
Well, I mean, there was
I
a
do
time.
not
Well,
want,
Trump kind of is.
Well, there was a time where the
well,
Republican Party was like communism, not another inch, and now the Republican
yes,
Party is telling our allies to fuck themselves and siding with Russia. So
I
it's
don't
pretty.
think he's saying, I don't think he's being pro Russia. I mean, I could understand how people would view it as him being pro Russia because of the way that he
Why
was
is he
acting. But I just,
why is he treating Russia better than he's treating Canada? He's
well,
threatening Russia,
Canada.
or he's threatening Canada, but he's not threatening Russia.
I mean, I wouldn't want to threaten Russia either. So,
Do you see what I mean? Willing to threaten our allies, but not willing to threaten a country led by a murderous dictator
right.
that
Who's
is
an
trying
adversary.
to illegally invade and annex sovereign Ukrainian territory.
Okay, well, anyway, I just wanted to say I am in no way pro Russia, but I no, Russians are not or Republicans are not pro Russia, at least not me.
Is Trump pro
I
Russia?
huh?
What does it mean to be pro Russia?
Thinking that it's a great thing that they're invading Ukraine.
I think Trump
Okay.
thinks that.
Who do you
I
think that
do not think that that's a good
what side
thing.
do you think Trump is on? Ukraine or Russia?
I don't think that he really wants to be involved in either side, to be quite honest with you. I think he kind of made that clear.
You think he hasn't picked sides?
I mean, you know what? I'm not Trump. Maybe he has. I can't speak for him.
No. I'm just asking. Do you think he hasn't picked sides? He's pro Russia or he's pro Ukraine?
I just think that he wants the whole thing to be over with, and I think
Which
he
one?
wants
Answer
this.
the question. Is he pro
No,
Is he? Which one?
Because it doesn't have to be an answer. Why do you
So then,
have
so
to
then he's not
pick a
involved. Are you
side?
saying that he's not involved? He
Why
doesn't
is
know.
it up to us
He
to
has
pick a
not
side?
picked sides on whether or not Russia, the country led by a fucking murderous dictator who invaded the sovereign Ukrainian territory
Whoa.
against the will of the people that live there, is not a bad thing. Please explain to me.
I think that it's a terrible thing that what Russia is doing, but at the same time, I don't think he wants
So
to
then
get
why
involved
can't Trump
anymore.
make that same determination?
What are you talking
You
about?
said that either Trump either doesn't have or actually no, you all you said so far is that Trump doesn't have any type of particular position, which means he doesn't have a position on whether or not illegally invading and annexing a particular country that is
Well,
sovereign and democratic is wrong.
he literally let Zelensky come into the White House, and he was going to have lunch with him, blah blah blah, this that the other, have talks with them, but he
He
wants a
kicked
peace
him
deal,
out. He kicked him out.
right? And he does.
He kicked Zelensky out
Wait.
of the White House. Could you
I
You know what?
imagine
If
if
I didn't,
can you imagine if Barack Obama did something like that? He fucking ordered Dijon mustard and they made an
The
issue of
Dijon
it.
mustard.
Can you imagine
Dijon
if
mustard.
something like that happened under Obama's presidency? What would have been on Fox News?